Number 20. Consider the function f of x equals negative 2x squared plus 20x minus 42. On the number line on your answer document, select the range of values of x for which f of x is greater than or equal to 0. So there's a couple of ways we could do this. The first thing we could do is we need to figure out when f of x equals 0 so that we can see it. So that's the first way we could do it. We could do this algebraically. We could plug 0 in for f of x, and we could solve this equation by factoring, completing the square, using the quadratic formula. There's a multitude of ways we can do this. And I'm going to use factoring. I think it's going to factor. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to factor out the negative 2. So negative 2 times x squared minus 10x plus 21. So this is going to factor more. X squared is x times x. And factors of 21 that are going to add up to 10 are 3 and 7. And then if I look at my signs, they are going to be the exact same because that one is positive, and they're both going to be negative. So x minus 3 and x minus 7. So then if I use my zero product property, 0 does not equal negative 2. That's silly. X minus 3 could equal 0, or x minus 7 could equal 0. So if we solve this, x can equal 3, or x can equal 7. So that's going to kind of give us an idea of what our graph is doing, because if I was to graph kind of a quick sketch, I would know that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, here at 3 and here at 7 are my solutions, okay? And then I also kind of know which way this is going to open up. Because the a is negative on this function, this graph is going to have a vertex above the x-axis, which means this graph is opening something like this. So when it tells me I'm looking for a range of values where f of x is greater than or equal to 0, that basically is saying for which numbers is y bigger than 0. So if you look at 3 to 7, notice my graph is above 0 for the y's. So from 3 to 7, that is going to be my values of x. Why put a y? That's a 7, sorry. That's going to be my values of x that are going to give me a y greater than or equal to 0. Now you could have also used a graphing calculator for this. So to do this with a graphing calculator, the first thing you would have to do is plug the function in to y1 and then look at the graph. Now thankfully this one fit in my 10 by 10 screen. If it didn't fit, I would have to open up the window a little bigger. And I can see my zeros are 1, 2, it looks like 3, and that one looks like 7. Now again, I'm looking for the values of y that are above the x-axis. So from this point to this point, that's going to be where I'm looking for. Now the problem with the graphing calculator is you maybe not know that it's 3 and 7. You might think, well, wait, what if it's 3.1 or 3.5? So what you can do is you can use the function in the calculator to calculate the zeros. So to do that, if you look at the word calc, which is above the trace button, we're going to hit second, calc, and we're going to find our zeros. So to do this, it first tells me to go to the left of whatever 0 I'm looking for. So I can tell that my values are very far away. So I need to be on the left side of it. So this is the left side of my first 0. I'm going to hit enter, and then it tells me to go to the right side. So I'm going to go to the right side of it, so just above it. And hit enter again. And then it wants us to guess. We don't need to guess, so we just hit enter one more time. And notice it tells me that my x value is 3 when my y is 0. So definitely at 3, that's a 3. And then we would do the same thing with the other 0. Go to calculate. This time when we go to the left of it, we have to stay on top of the x-axis, hit enter, then go below the x-axis and hit enter. And this one tells me that the 0 is 7. So I can tell that on my graph from 3 to 7, my function is going to be bigger than 0 because it opens down. My y's will be bigger. So on my number line, that's what I'm going to draw. I'm going to say from 3, so right there is 3, all the way to 7, this function is going to have a y that is greater than or equal to 0.